The event today was a chance to celebrate 50 years of the Department of Organisation, Work and Technology, and to reflect on the kind of work that's done in the department and how it's in many ways become timeless and relevant for the last 50 years and as relevant as ever today as it has been. We use the event as a chance to bring back alumni from the department to think about what they learned from their time at Lancaster, but also to bring in a range of other speakers that help us think about where things are going in the future and how the work of the department can help shape that and help provide the kind of insights that are needed for us to deal with the challenges and the complexity of organisations, work and technology as we move into the second decade of the 21st century.
So I was delighted to come back and celebrate the 50th anniversary of the department. I was here in 1987 and I gained and learned a lot from my time here, which I've been able to take throughout my career for the last 30 years into industry. I shared a vision of the future of the use of human resources technology with the audience. This is a rapidly changing and emerging field of activity, and it's one of those things that we as practitioners need to be very mindful of and ensure we fully understand so that we can provide the best decisions and insights that's going to help the future of work.
I came to the event today because I think it's incredibly important for academia and industry to maintain strong links, both in terms of where theory is generated so that it can be practiced in the reality of business, but also so that academia can research and be influenced by what goes on out in industry. What I spoke about today was the main focus points or issues of concern for financial services based on my experience working within financial services organisations or for them as an external consultant. I think it's particularly important to understand their concerns. Some of them are drawn out of issues we've been talking about for the last 10 or 20 years, like flexible working, and some of them are more future-based, like the technology and the way that's going to impact workforces and the strategies that they take.
Today's event is just a great chance for me as a graduate of the management school to, well, primarily reconnect. You know, I had a fantastic few years here as a student, graduate of the IMPM program, and graduated my MSc here. And it was such an enriching experience to be part of the school, to have the opportunity at the point in my career I had to just learn new things, you know, and draw from abstract concepts that I wasn't associated with day in, day out, and apply it to my life or just enjoy learning really. And reconnecting with colleagues and staff members who had a major contribution to me and my development was really important. So I was delighted as a chance to come here and we'll be speaking this afternoon about global change. And you know what I'll be reflecting on this afternoon and what I want to talk about is how the world is changing, how the rise of populist nationalism, how the rise of, you know, the challenge to kind of neoliberal thinking is really influencing the world in which we work. I work for an organisation that tries to provide humanitarian assistance to people at risk of landmines who've been impacted by conflict, and a changing world order. This kind of protectionist nationalism is really fueling a kind of doubt really in the purpose of foreign aid. And you know, as somebody responsible for leading an organisation that seeks to serve those communities most at risk, you know, grappling with those issues and remaining relevant to those who support us here in the UK, but have that context in which they live and work, and also serving those most at risk, which I feel ultimately that we're called to do, you know, and I feel personally connected to. So, yeah, that's why I'm here, and that's why I think the issues that are changing in the world today are really important to understand, and Lancaster has helped me to do that, so that's why I'm here.
I came to the event today because actually hearing what people have to say about the future of work and technology is part of what I do in my day job. And I wanted to engage intellectually with some of the most current thinking in that field. But equally, I have my own story to tell, and I wanted people to hear what I have to say too. I found it very stimulating so far, and I hope that people found what I had to say stimulating too. What I talked about today was the future of trade unions and the future of organised labour. And I offered people an optimistic and a pessimistic assessment of what might happen in the future, partly reflecting on the fact that union membership and organisation has declined in most developed countries over the last 30 or 40 years. And that was the pessimistic part of the story, but also recognising that there are some really big challenges in the future around the impact of technology on work, but for me, most importantly, the impact of climate change on the world of work, which will lead to, I think, significant disruption and greater disruption than anything that the technology might generate. Now, those changes need to be justified and legitimised. They've got to be explained. There has to be a process of consultation with workers and their representatives, and the specific action as it relates to the organisation of work, the design of jobs, what people do, how they get paid, will all have to be agreed. And I can't really see in a democracy how we can make progress with those real challenges unless we have strong workplace institutions that give people voice, influence and control over what happens to them from one day to another.